Okay. Say hello, everybody.
Hi, Greg.
Howdy.
How are we doing?
Good. Thirsty and hungry.
Oh, Mattie's first day in the backyard here. Meeting all kinds of friends.
Hey, Mattie.
Not too excited about the camera. Oh.
That's a little sharp, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, Mattie. Hey, Mattie. You gonna say hello to the camera? There she is.
We're tired, worn out.
Well, we were running around playing like crazy, huh?
Yeah. Look, Mattie.
She's tired.
Oh, no.
She's like, no.
Come on, Mattie.
All right. We'll go see where Jake is hiding out, too. Jake, who's being a very good cat. Hiding out behind the bush. Hey, Jake, you gonna come out and say hello? Are you gonna come say hello, Jake? Where are you? Are you in there? Hey, Mr. Jake. Jake! Well, Jake's not going to say hello, but he's been a very hospitable kitty cat, and he greeted Mattie and meowed at her, and he hasn't said a mean word yet, although he is being a little bit quiet, which is understandable. All in all, very successful introduction of Mattie. And over here we have holes and a post hole digger, and Chuck and I have just dug holes that are going to be the caissons for the deck footing here. 36 inches deep, each one of them. Chance to focus here. 4 of these things. Next job is to figure out how to true up the contents of the hole.
That's going to be about 100 cubic feet of concrete.
100 cubic centimeters or inches or something?
Cubic feet.
Hi, Daniel.
About 3.5
Fine,
cubic
how are
yards.
you? Good.
Huh.
Yeah, how did you ever
And
guess?
Dad called. Very good.
Okay.
Well, here we are about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on day 2, and the 2 critters are sacked out in the bedroom. And there's the newest one right there.
Here's Greg and Mattie. After Mattie took a long walk around the pond.
Say hi, Mattie.
Does Mattie look tired?
Hi.
Somebody's
I'm
poop.
wide awake.
Somebody's sleepy.
Okay. Well, it's been a few days here. It is now the, what is it, the 14th maybe? 14th of June. So we've had Mattie a little bit less than 2 weeks, and already she's grown quite a bit. I can get back here and get a little bit of perspective on her. I wish I could see Jake. There he is up there. If they're not side by side, it's a little tougher to tell, but she is a lot larger now. And what you're also seeing is the deck in construction here. And I wanted to get a little bit of this so we could remember how it went together. What we've done is we've taken that ledger board attached to the house, and we have put joist hangers all along it at 16-inch intervals, and those are just, in most cases, they're just lightly tacked on so that they'll easily be able to slide the boards into them when we're ready. This is one issue right here that we're going to have to deal with yet, and that is the fact that that board doesn't extend all the way to the corner, and wouldn't be so much of a problem to hang the joists from that board right behind, except they won't stick out a full 8 feet, and 8 feet's important. It's an 8 foot in width deck, so we may figure out a way to deal with that more easily. But we've begun to hang some joists along here, and they are supported by these double beams here, which I'll pan out and see it a little bit better. But these double beams hung across these 4x4s, which are right into the ground in cement blocks, and so it's a very sturdy setup. these two boards right here that you see going all the way from the end across the middle and to right there where they terminate are 16-foot 2x10s, and they're very heavy, and Kelly and I were able to get them into place by jockeying them around and using both of our hands. But we've got them nailed or screwed on there with 8-inch screws. They go into those 4x4 posts, which are then sunk into the ground a full 36 inches. And Chuck and I dug the 36-inch holes with a post hole digger, a two-man gasoline-powered job. And then Kelly and I subsequently filled those holes with cement and mixed it right in the hole, and then put in the metal fastener, which looks like this, and we just placed that into the concrete as best we could. And this is probably the best example of one that didn't quite come in evenly. So we ended up using a level and figuring out what was straight, and that one looks a little cockeyed. Most of them actually look pretty straight, which we were just real fortunate about. There's two more of them here. That one you can't see very well, and then this one you kind of have to trust that one's pretty straight as well. So those four supporting those 2x10s, it should be fairly strong. And then we used an inline level by taking a piece of string and attaching it to the bottom of one of these joist hangers and stringing it out across the open space there to one of these posts, and hanging a little level on that string to determine what was straight, and that's how we determined where these boards would be attached to each one of those four posts. And as you can see, as you step back a ways, there's definitely some slope to the yard, and so it starts off being pretty close to the ground, and then by this edge over here, it's off the ground by a little bit more. But it should be level, and our next step is to continue hanging joists across that gap there. We'll have to do some special work to span this protrusion right here, which is the bathroom, because we can't attach directly to it. But we've got some ideas for that, and really the next step at this point is going to be digging out a little bit of the grass here, as I've already begun to do. There's nice grass here, and there's no reason to just let it go unused. So we're going to try to transplant some of it over to here, where the sandbox used to reside, and I've already begun putting a little bit of it right along in there. And as you can see, there's some empty space here, which I need to continue to fill with some grass. There's a lot of extra dirt there in the back, which I'm not going to worry about at this time because we're planning on planting some shrubbery, and I'll figure out what to do there. But the bottom line is there's no reason to plant grass there right now, so I can store some dirt. There's a bush that we put in, and then over here, this stake represents where we're going to put a small ornamental tree, and to the left of it, you can barely discern that there are two bushes. There's one in the center, and there's the other in the center. Two very small bushes that we've planted, and likewise on this side, there's one, and there's the other. That should grow up a little bit bigger. But Kelly obtained all that stuff at an auction for garden things, and so those will add a lot to the yard too. So this is the deck at this point, and we'll try to get some more footage when we get a little bit further along. Our first inspection's coming up soon. I'll have to schedule that very shortly. It's a rough inspection when we've laid all the joists on, and they have to inspect it at that point, and then they'll inspect one more time when we have all the decking laid on. And we have got most of the wood in the garage right now, so that's it. It is the 14th of June.
Like that book you gave us and the drill, that we've used more than anything.
Well, good. That was a birthday present
I
and
know.
a Christmas present, a 2-for-1, I think.
I know, but you have no idea how great it's been.
Well, I'm glad you were able to use it. And is it able to do the drill work out here?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
It was tough,
Mattie.
the masonry stuff.
So,
Yes, that's Jake's toy. Yes. Yes.
say, but it's so much fun to play with Jake's toys. She is so cute, though.
All right.
Now I've got my instructions right in. I'm trying. A little nudge, little love bite. You don't bite very hard, though, do you?
She said
No.
it depends.
Well, thank you. And Kelly,
I
you,
love seeing
well,
you.
it was fun. And great, thank
All right.
Look at you guys come and see me in Pocatello.
Oh, we.
Okay, it's a little bit later on in the day here, just an hour or so after Aunt Barb left, and wanted to get another picture of this deck because I think this is the point at which things start moving a lot more quickly. Kelly and I spent some time in the rain yesterday working on it, and what we did was begin to lay these joists along in here at, of course, the same 16-inch intervals that the joist hangers were placed in on the ledger board, and we've placed them on, and we've also gone to the store and obtained some little brackets which allow us to hang the joist exactly where we want it here on the on this board, and then just a second to focus here, and then hold it in place with nails. And so it's not exactly supported for a whole lot of tilt from left to right, I don't think, but it does make sure that it stays where it needs to stay, and each one of these is supported on the inside board with one of those. This double board right here comes out. It's doubled so that it can bear the weight of the cross board, which you'll see in a minute here. There's also a double on this side, and these two doubles allow us to go ahead and place a third set of double boards right here. And this one runs right along the house in front of the bathroom, and that'll give us something. Will act as kind of a hanging ledger board to put more joist hangers on and bring them across the gap, thereby avoiding putting any weight at all in the bathroom. And as we did that, we wondered what we were going to do about the little space that's left behind that hanging board, because we'll want to have decking boards right up against the house. And so I'm going to pause this a minute, and then we'll walk up to it and see what we've done on that front. Okay, I'm now up here on the deck part on the end. We've just laid out some of the joists that are going to go in these two gaps here on the third part of the deck, so it actually resembles decking, although it's not fastened down at all. Here you see on this board that goes across, what we've actually done is attached little blocks every 16 inches along here, and that should allow us hopefully to lay a piece of decking across those blocks and have them fastened and somewhat supported on the back side of that board. And again, the whole reason we ever even had to do that was because of this bathroom jutting out, and the reason we couldn't put it right up against it is because of this drain spout. And so otherwise we would have had it very close to the bathroom, but because of that drain spout we had to move it out just a little bit, and so hopefully those will give us some support. We've also removed some grass along here, kind of a tedious process, and transplanted it across the yard. We'll take a gradual move across here, across the deck, see how that's looking from above, and then over here to the sandbox, where we've brought in a few more pieces now of grass here on the sandbox area. So we're coming along. We'll get a little bit more footage later on today after we've laid some more joists. Okay, here we are, and there's Mattie playing with a sock. Hi, Mattie. Hi, Mattie. Hi. And here we are having our first meal on the deck.
Happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you. Yep. Is she about to fall in?
No.
No.
Watch.
Oh, okay. Well, this is how far we've come today. We finished laying in all those joists,
That's such a lovely sock you have.
and we've laid the decking down on the deck. No nails, no nothing. We just put it down to see what it looks like, and obviously we're missing a bunch of pieces. But we wanted to see how it feels, and it feels very strong. And I'll pause for a second here and look at it from another view. All right, here we are. And it's looking pretty good. It's all laid in there, all the joists.
Oh, nope.
And we've got about 11 pieces of lumber that we're going to return, and another 13 they're going to deliver anyway. So they'll drop off 24 pieces tomorrow, and that should do us pretty well for our decking. We've got a little bit of a problem we've identified over here on this end, and that is that we're a little bit more than 30 inches off the ground from our decking surface to the floor, and that by code requires us to put up a 3-foot hand railing. So we're going to have to talk to the inspector tomorrow and find out if there's any way to get around that. We'd like to put in maybe some flower boxes or something like that right here on this corner, and that may save us. We'll check with the inspector and see what he says. But it's looking pretty good, and it's lots of fun to walk on. All right. Lots of fun to have dinner on.
I think the bees found us.
Oh, you saw bees now?
See their bee or big fly.
Okay. Alright, so we'll get more. Who's in the window behind you there, Kelly? Anybody? Or is that just your own shadow?
Shadow.
Okay.
A beautiful one.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Okay. We'll get some more footage when we get a little further. Well, I'm wanting to continue this effort, this documentation effort here on both the deck and the animal characters here. And there's Jake just kind of hanging out on the corner of the deck. Hey, Jake. Jake. There you are. Obviously a stressed out cat. And down here, if I can pan back a little bit further, we have somebody else who wants some attention. Yeah, I don't know where she's gone. Oh, there she is. Okay, chewing on the steak that's going to be our tree someday. So there's Mattie. She's been having fun with the water this afternoon, and she's growing bigger and bigger. It's now Friday the 20th of June, and looks like she's starting to get to the point where she might be able to do some damage if she wanted to. So fortunately we've gotten most of the deck in place to prevent her from getting at the underpinnings of it anyway. So I'll go ahead and pause this for a minute and we'll take a look at the deck and see how that's coming along. What we've done at this point is get all of these boards that you see right here are screwed down, as is this whole middle section screwed down, although it's got some debris sitting around on it right now. The section off to the right here is not yet screwed down, but it will be by the end of tonight, as long as we can go out and buy the screws that we need, because we're starting to run out. But we'll come in kind of close here and take a look at the, you can see the screws running all along there, and we got 2 in each board, 2 in each section of each board there along running right into the joists, and they are every 16 inches you'll see another set of screws, because the joists are every 16 inches, as you saw when we took a look at the deck from the front end. There's that 16-inch joist spacing right there, and sometimes it gets a little closer towards the ends, but typically throughout that whole area it's going to be every 16 inches. And there's Jake again. Okay, here we are up on top of the deck, getting a bird's eye view of the animals. Mattie can't quite figure out yet how she's going to get up here. She's not quite developed all the neural networks yet, and well, she's aware that there's a ramp at the other end of the deck over here specifically for her. And you see the boards coming up to the deck right there. She sometimes doesn't clue it in and realize that she can actually use that to get up here. So instead she kind of wanders around and gets frustrated, as you can see. Hi, Mattie. Hi, Mattie. You gonna try to get up? You gonna try to get up here? Well, come on. Well, come on, Mattie. Come on. Well, come on. You see, this would be a first if she could actually make it up, and she can't. Not quite big enough. So anyway, but here you can see the screws all laid in there in a row, all along here. We're going to go through at least 2 boxes, and then we'll go through some more after that. Over here in the corners, this is where the front door is, or the door to the deck anyway. And you can see that we kind of shortened it right to here, and then right here we had to put in some short boards just to make it up. But we only had to do 4, and so we only had to shorten these 4 boards right here, and only had to put in 4 little spacers. So that's not very much cutting that we had to do, and the rest of these are all 8-foot segments that we didn't have to cut at all. They're store-bought like this. So that was really part of the design here. There you see stair joists or stair pieces that are going to go in. We're going to try to do a staircase right here, diagonally down into the lawn, and also right here, diagonally down into the lawn. And so we needed 4 stair pieces to be able to construct those. You get finally to over here where we're going to finish doing this. You can see that we don't have these 4 pieces in yet, but they're going to be just like they are on the other side. And none of these boards here are nailed down yet, so we'll just need to move Mattie's cage and start to put the screws in on these sections here. Right now they're just a little bit loose, but we'll do that And the only other cut we had to make was right over here on this 8-foot board where we had to go around the drain pipe. And you can see that we just did a little cut out there to allow that to pass through, and that took care of that. So get some more footage as we get this surface here completed. Okay, it's now Saturday the 21st, and we've finished screwing down the third section of decking boards here. And we've also gone through and neatly trimmed off the edges on this side, so you can see that those are all even lengths now. So that gives it a, and you can see I gouged it just a little bit right there, but no big deal. Along the front here we'll probably end up putting some sort of a front piece on there because Kelly can't stand the look of that, even though I think it looks real nice. And then right in the middle here, we've batted this around a couple times. Now we're going to do straight stairs off the front. And as you can see, we've got the first stair piece positioned in there roughly the way it's going to go. We're going to attach one to that joist, and then the next, and the next, and the next. And then with those 4 in place, we'll be able to lay boards across 2 deep on each level, and that'll give us a wide set of stairs coming down, and we'll have to figure something out about railings after that. But here, I'll go ahead and step up on the deck and we'll see how that finished off on the surface up there. As you can see up here, we finished it off the same way we did the other side, and we're able to avoid cutting too many boards. All of these in here, all 8-foot boards, and then you get to the last 4 up close to the house here, and we had to slice each one of them off just a little bit, really not very much at all, in order to get them to meet up right here with these little boards. And the whole point is that from this point here to the left, right up against this out-jutting of the wall, down to the end over here is more than 8 feet, so we can't just use 8-foot boards. And right here, you can see the 2 rows of screws, one to the left there and one here to the right. Those are 2 joists underneath. Now, these boards, these long ones here, they could extend further. We didn't have to cut them off. They could have extended to where these boards extended to, which is, as you can see, about 2 or 3 inches beyond. The problem we would have run into is that we would have been hanging out in the air with no joist underneath, and then when we went to put in these little spacer boards, we wouldn't have had anything to screw them into. They would have fallen off on one end. So we had to shorten these a little bit to get back to this joist, so that we would have something to support the little spacer boards as well. And because both these boards are butting up against each other on one joist, we didn't feel like we could put in 4 screws, 2 on each side. There just isn't enough wood to screw into. So what we did is we kind of angled in 1 screw each direction into that single joist that runs underneath this seam here. So that's what we did on this side, and the same thing on the other side. That's how we were able to get that extra foot or so to get this little piece filled in. But the whole surface is now done, and it's very solid, very firm to walk on, and feels real good. So we'll get these stairs put on and get these extra pieces cut off, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. It is Saturday now. Okay, well, we've gotten the stair pieces laid down, and we've just got some example boards laying on them right now. These are all boards which are rejects, which we got in our big batch of boards that we don't like. We got nicks and dings on them and things like that, so we're going to take them back to the store this afternoon. But we just wanted to get them in place to see if our staircase was in fact flat and everything, and it looks like it is. So we'll go back and trade these in and get some better boards and put them on as the final staircase. But as you can see, it's going to be a nice wide staircase to the ground. It won't be quite as wide as these boards that are laying on there, but once we cut off the ends and things like that, it's be about as wide as the 4 pieces that you see leading up to the deck. So we'll get to that here this afternoon. Hey, Mattie. Mattie, that's our garden sprinkler. And that's her rawhide chew toy. Hey, Mattie. Well, Mattie, how are you doing? How are you doing? It's been raining here, and seems to have finished raining for a little bit right now. But the deck is nice and wet. Seems to have survived it. One more time, at the risk of boring everybody, this is what our staircase is currently looking like. I went ahead and took in the boards that that we're going to return and get improvements on. But that's the staircase right there, and there's the 4 boards right there that I'm gonna return and try to get better samples. But well, it looks like we're going to need more too. We got 4, and that should cover us for the bottom 2 steps. Then we probably need another 2, and then another 1 at the top. So looking like 2, 4, 6, 7 boards really that we need. So we'll trade in those 4 and get 3 more, and we should be set at that point. But it's looking pretty good, and it survived the rainstorm that we just ducked in out of, and so it's pretty exciting stuff. And it even looks like this little bush over here in the end is going to survive. I don't know whether I mentioned that earlier or not, but the second bush here didn't look like it was going to make it, but now it's got a couple little buds on it, so it looks like it's going to survive along with its friend here and the eventual tree here and next bush there and final bush there, which is really doing good. That's going to be one as nice as the ones that we have out in front, which I'll try to get a picture of too. There's the little out front bushes. They're doing mighty well this year. Kelly cut them down to almost nothing, and I thought that was a mistake, but it obviously wasn't. They came back bigger than ever, and they've got these nice blooms on them now too, which are going to be really, really neat to see. So that'll be good. Front yard's doing pretty well. There's the tree that came with the house, and then the tree on the other side here is the one we put in. I'll get a picture of that. There's the tree that we put in. Leaning a little left there, but it really is looking good. And we tried to get some of this little transplanted ground cover from Kelly's mom's house that the Coxes brought, and that just didn't seem to take yet, although it may come back to life. We'll just have to see. But there's that tree, and it's looking real good and standing up real tall and sprouting new leaves all the time, so I think it's going to be a keeper. So that's a nice one to have.
Is that what they were doing before?
No, they were running around tussling a little more funny like before.
That didn't look very nice.
Okay, here we are.
Isn't it beautiful?
Well, we think so, that's for sure. Here's the final thing. We went ahead and put in the stairs and got the handrails in there, and they look pretty good. We didn't think we'd like it at all, but they do look pretty good, I guess. And we're just finally giving the grass a little bit of water here, and they work real well. So I'll get a shot of them from the front here so we can see what they look like. See if I can avoid getting sprinkled here. But there they are, and they looks pretty good. The whole deck's done now. See if I can avoid this stream of water. The only thing we have left to fret about a little bit is the excessive rise off the ground level right here, and that seems to be still a little bit more than 30 inches, even though I put in all this dirt. I'll probably put in some more dirt, just enough to make the grade, and get the inspectors out to take a look at it. But that's the completed deck, and we like the looks of it. It seems to be what we wanted, proportionate to the house and everything else. And so we'll move on to our next project here, which will be getting that sprinkler system in, so we don't have to do this anymore.